I would like to introduce Nina. She will have next talks effects of beekeeping on child development. And she's founder of the Institute Enea, who is also co-organizer. And he is also working a lot with the kids, as you might already notice. So apitherapist, also a beekeeper, a preschool teacher, food technician. And she's working in this field for a while, not only in the garden, also on the level of Ljubljana municipality, as well at state level, where she's involved in several activities relating to the implementation, development of the educational programs. And one of that program is also API Kindergarten that she developed. And she will talk from her experience about her work, and a little bit more how this is affecting child development, I guess, through these educational activities. Nina, the floor is yours. Microphone, don't forget.
Thank you very much, Janko. For the starters, this time I did say a lot about introduction and the effect of beekeeping programs and apitherapy programs and all these topics on child development. I will not say it all again, what I was already lectured on Friday, but I would like to point out this thing and then give a word to a wonderful young beekeeper here, Michelle. So for the starters, for children, beekeeping is proper activity in terms of developmental psychology. A combination of scientific research methods was used in the research as an experiment, systematic observation, questionnaire, interview, and case study. The research used a predominantly deductive approach, data collection, data analysis, and interpretation of synthesis of conclusions. The process took place through monitoring the child's development over a longer period of beekeeping or working with bee families. So it should be noted, and as you shall see, that working with live bees as part of apitherapy has positive effects on the cognitive, motor, and psychosocial development of the child, especially positive self-image, self-confidence, strategic and critical thinking, and independent solving of challenges. So it is my great honor to invite Michelle Elizabeth Jose as a young, I would like to say she's a young 5G beak, that's 5th generation, hailing from a traditional family of beekeepers in India's southernmost state of Kerala, known as God's own country. She is pursuing grade 8 at the reputed AKJM Higher Secondary School situated here in her hometown. Michelle demonstrated a passion and interest in beekeeping when she was just 10 years and is already the proud owner of 12 hives. She has groomed herself as a young entrepreneur and is also mentoring a few fellow beekeepers senior to her. Michelle is very studious in her school academics and actively volunteers and participates in a variety of cultural and co-curricular activities at her school, local parish church, and on other platforms. She is the recipient of many accolades and awards for her engagement and support at various events. She has played an integral role in editing her school's newsletter. Her class teacher and school principal hold Michelle in very high esteem for her gentle and affable nature, humility, leadership skills, and willingness to help her classmates, friends, and has a very endearing personality. Michelle has been hailed as a youth icon by FAO's Mountain Partnership for her presentation on World Bee Day 2021. So, Michelle, if you play, I invite you to share your screen.
I'll be sharing the screen in a minute. All right, can you see it?
Yes, we see.
Greetings to all. Greetings from India. A huge namaste from India. I'm Michelle Subajus, a 13-year-old beak from India. And first and foremost, thank you a lot, Nina, for that very kind introduction. What I'll be speaking about today is, I'll be speaking about something which is quite close to my heart. It is also something which is personal to me, and that is bees and children. I'll just give a brief, a short introduction about myself first. As I said, I'm Michelle. I'm 13 years old and I'm from India. I live in Kerala, which is the southernmost state of India, a land filled with lush greenery, flora.
Michelle, we can't hear you. We lost your voice. Maybe if you turn it off and on again. No. Maybe if you close the share and then start all over.
Nina, maybe we'll just give her a couple of minutes. I think there is some technical glitch. We'll just bear for a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so in the meantime, we can see what's in the chat. Somebody wrote, I would like to ask if bee products can help with gluten intolerance, celiac disease, and with abdominal activity of the thyroid. I believe this is the question for Stefan.
Can you please repeat the question, Nina? And by the way, sorry a bit to interrupt. I saw here on the screen of Michelle, her battery is 0%. It was 0%. So she needs to put the computer back in the electrical current. That's
Michelle,
why.
if you hear us, please make sure the battery gets full.
Yeah, it was like 0%. Okay.
Thank you. I did not notice that.
Yeah. So, okay. Nina, can you please repeat the question? So, BPRA can help with gluten intolerance, celiac disease, and we are not. Oh, okay. Okay, so about gluten intolerance is a big issue in apitrat in the health and for the children too, for the adults, because gluten it's a molecule which is very sticky and it creates a lot of problems in the belly. Even people which are not allergic, like celiac disease, they have just intolerance. This gluten goes also into the bloodstream and blocks the capillaries, and it's like cholesterol, like something not good. Especially if the children are eating too much, then they have a digestion problem. So honey can be used and propolis to diminish this excessive permeability through the intestinal walls. But the most important thing is to replace the gluten-based foods like bread, like anything coming from wheat and I believe barley, it's also with gluten. And then replace this one with rice. So if it's rice with vegetables and enough oil, then gluten is not anymore an issue. And then take care if you still need some bread, the amount should be small and well digested, like well chewed, and not big amounts to make the belly bloated. So just small amounts. Ideally is just to go like Japanese, they are on rice. All Asian people are on rice and they are okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Michelle. Yeah.
Yes.
Michelle, are you set?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you speak louder?
Yeah, little louder, Michelle.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that technical glitch. I'm using headphones right now. Just tell me when the screen is visible.
The screen is visible.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. So thank you a lot, Nina, for that very, very kind introduction. I'm Michelle Subajos, a 13-year-old beekeeper from India, and I'll be speaking about something which is quite personal to me, which is quite close to my heart, and that is bees and children. I'll give a small introduction about myself. As I said, I'm Michelle and I'm 13 years old. I live in Kerala, which is the southernmost state of India, a land filled with lush flora, fauna, greenery, backwaters, mountains, etc. And I live in a very typical picturesque countryside home. I'm a proud young bee, and I started to keep bees when I was 10 years old. Since 2020, I've been attending online classes using the aid of technology due to the pandemic. I miss my friends, my school, my classmates, my teachers, and all the crazy and fun times that we used to enjoy at school otherwise. And actually, I'm quite relieved that schools are finally going to reopen once again. I'm sure that you noticed two words, being personal, at the very start of the PPT, which was in very bold and large font. Yes, beekeeping is something which is quite personal to me, as this has been going on in my family for generations. It was my grandfather's grandfather who started this tradition, and I'm the first she-bee from my family. My two gurus are my grandfather, who is Mr. Louis Alexander. He was kind enough to let me into some of his tricks and secrets that even Wikipedia and Google can tell you. And my father, Mr. Jose Louis, who also shared some secrets that he gained through his experience. And he taught me most of the modern and widely used methods in beekeeping. Yes, it was a very, very natural training mode with all the stings, the clumsiness, the anger, the tears, etc. And yes, it was fun too. I have around a dozen hives, all of them located in my own surrounding, in my own compound. I personally collect honey from my hives. My family also helps me a lot. Since 2020, after the pandemic struck India, after Kerala had to go into a lockdown mode, and we were all confined to our neighborhood and our homes, my neighbors also developed a small interest in this, and they also started to help me sometimes. Since March 2021, this year, I have been using online platforms and social media to sell pure honey that I collected from my own hives and from other trusted local beekeepers too. I think that beekeeping is a very passionate and serious hobby, which keeps me engaged and strongly connected with nature and the world around me. It also keeps me active too. And surely it helps me to avoid stress from not being able to attend school and meeting my schoolmates, my class teacher, my friends, etc. And yes, minimizes the time that I spend in front of a screen, in front of the TV or a computer. I also observe and manage wild beehives. That is to say, I also observe and catch or domesticate wild beehives. This is a picture of a tree trunk from which I was able to get one of my finest wild colonies. And after we transferred the colony into a good bee box, we patched it up. We patched the trunk up using mud and some thread and everything. And we kept it at a good location from where swarming bees can access it very easily. I also read a lot about bee conservation, and it's a great way to learn more about conservation, more about the importance of conservation, and about securing and safeguarding Earth for ourselves and for the generations to come. As I mentioned earlier, I have been using the social media platforms, online platforms, to sell my honey since March this year. And so far, I've got more than 140 regular customers and patrons from all across my India. I'm quite happy that I've been able to earn my own pocket money, and I'll be able to support a substantial portion of my school fees for the ongoing academic year. Beekeeping or selling my honey has turned this lazy, idle teenager a bit more responsible, and I'm accountable for my own expenses. I understood that money never grows on trees. You have to work quite hard for that. Along with that, I was able to empower myself with leadership qualities and skills, and have evolved as a young, promising entrepreneur. Yes, Honey and other bee products are healthy. The earlier speakers emphasized on this a lot. I have got jars full of pure raw honey, which is carefully stored in very neat and healthy conditions in my home kitchen store. Honey is a super healthy, super tasty food supplement, which has high medicinal value, nutritional value, and it's a great immunity booster. We can also use it as a substitute for sugar. Also, honey is something which is quite widely used in the ancient Indian form of medicine, Indian system of medicine, Ayurveda, for treating cough, cold, fever, etc. So honey is a necessity, is a must in every domestic house, in every household. What better way to get honey, to source your honey, than to extract your own honey from the beehives that you take care of and look after? Any family can set up a beehive at a very cheap rate of $25 for a hive. In the recent past, many studies that were conducted, and it revealed the honey fraud. That is to say that we were able to find out that the top-notch honey brands, which honey brands are actually selling sugar syrup and corn syrup, a special sort of corn syrup under the label of honey. So there is a huge need. There is a big need for pure raw honey as bees made it. 5 hives at a home or a home garden or surrounding will provide a family with the honey which is necessary for its own domestic needs, while at the same time it will help the family to earn some additional income. It will help them to absorb a few domestic or household expenses. So there is a lot of good sides to having a bee box of your own. Yes, being a female bee, being a she bee. I already mentioned that I'm the first she bee from my family. Keeping bees is not something which requires much tedious efforts, much nerve-wracking efforts. It's not gender specific either. Imagine that you're walking into an apiary to collect some honey, to steal some honey, which is the rightful property of the bees. The bees won't be making an announcement like this. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be easier for us if you would split into groups according to your gender. No, they won't be doing that. They'll just think you. We are stealing their own property, their rightful property, honey. They'll just sting you. They won't be checking who are you, what's your gender. It is a great hobby for young girls and women folk, which will help them to earn an income for themselves, which will cover their basic needs, personal needs, or educational needs. Beekeeping will also help us to learn to make value-added products from the honeybees, which are good for the health, nutrition, wellness, and it will turn you into a self-made entrepreneur in our own locality. The income generated from beekeeping can be utilized for one's own needs, their own personal needs, domestic needs, or educational expenses. It is a great hobby. It's a serious, great hobby for young women, young girls, and women folk who are free-spirited, independent, and self-reliant. My journey as a beekeeper so far has been simply amazing. I'm proud to be a young bee because I know that I'm contributing, or I'm doing my part towards securing a better planet and ecosystem. And my primary focus is to conserve the domesticated native Indian species of bees, which is the Apis cerana indica. Beekeeping has helped me a lot to develop personally too. Other than getting a profit, I was able to interact with different people from across the country who came from diverse cultures, diverse background, traditions, states, spoke different languages, etc. It facilitated my communication skills. It increased my communication skills effectively, and also developed logical reasoning and critical thinking skills too. And I was also able to make a lot of friends too, a great group of friends. I have a customer-oriented approach and focus, and it has helped me to build a great base of retaining loyal customers and patrons from all across my India. And yes, being a beak is super cool and super happy. Another reason why apiculture must be given a center stage in a global platform is because beekeeping contributes a lot to the SDG goals. Out of the 17 SDG goals, beekeeping is something which will influence 6 of them. The first 2, which is no poverty and zero hunger, I already mentioned that a family can get their own hive at a very cheap cost of nearly $25. It is a project that any government can take up easily to promote, to erase poverty from the face of the earth, along with hunger. The third one is good health and well-being. In the earlier, we learned that about 10 different products, 10 different bee products that we get from bees is good for our health and for our nutrition. And also honey is something which is widely used in the Indian system of medicine. I already mentioned that system of medicine, which is Ayurveda, for treating fever, cold, cough, obesity, etc. The fifth SDG goal is gender equality. I believe that I gave a great explanation for that. I don't think that any more explanations are necessary. The 13th one is climate action, and the 15th one, life on land. Bees depends on plants, and plants depends on bees. Plants will make a major impact in controlling the climate change. So beekeeping will help us to achieve those two SDG goals too. These are some of my other achievements. I'm doing quite well in my academics, and I won prizes for elocution, essay writing, recitations, magazine preparations, etc. And I'm a history lover too. And that's it. I want you to watch a video.
To share sound from the computer.
Or maybe she can just comment the video if it's possible.
Okay, sure. Okay, that is me and my brother, my mischievous brother, packing a honey bottle, which is supposed to be sent. I'm speaking about the benefits of buying honey directly from a beekeeper. We'll be able to trace honey bottle to the same apiary, to one single hive, and no preservatives or sugar will be added, and it's honey as bees made it. So that's it. Thank you a lot for listening to me. Thank you a lot for giving me this platform now. Thank you especially to Ms. Nina, who guided me and mentored me throughout this program. You can contact me at mishitanni@gmail.com or through www.indianbees.org. Thank you.